Like most people, Cassie DePeckle yearned for a life of adventure and wanted to experience every treasure that the world has to offer. So when the plucky 27-year-old was tasked with visiting every country in the world, she jumped at the challenge. As a result, she not only changed her own life, but she may have made history as well. It's perhaps safe to say that DePeckle had a somewhat unorthodox upbringing. Born and raised in Connecticut, the traveler moved from school to school and even received home tuition. But while many children would find this lifestyle daunting, DePeckle loved this experience and even came away with an unquenchable wanderlust. DePeckle's first taste for travel came during her freshman year at college when she explored the rainforests of Costa Rica. Shortly afterward, she began traveling and finding work in hotels around the globe. And by the time of her 24th birthday, DePeckle had already visited one country for every year she'd been alive. However, this wasn't enough to satisfy the intrepid explorer's thirst for experience and adventure. On her 25th birthday, DePeckle, driven by her interests in sustainable tourism and exploration, began planning a trip like no other. And after a month of planning, she devised a trans-global trip that would become known as Expedition 196. Though seeing every country in the world would be any person's dream, this wasn't DePeckle's sole motivation. Indeed, the traveler hoped to spread a message of peace and empowerment through her voyage. To this end, the International Institute of Peace through Tourism, IIPT, through which she acts as an ambassador for peace, partially funded her expedition. Moreover, DePeckle wanted to make her place in history and saw the voyage as her true calling. Speaking to fans via her YouTube channel, DePeckle said, "This is my legacy that I want to leave behind." But perhaps she didn't realize quite how big a legacy she'd make. Following months of careful planning and preparation, DePeckle embarked on her voyage on July 24, 2015. Setting off from Portland, Oregon, the explorer arrived in the tiny Pacific island state of Palau, her first destination on the map. From there, she hitched a flight to Samoa before beginning a complete exploration of Oceania. And it was during the second leg of the journey that DePeckle experienced one of the tougher facets of international travel. All in all, the 3,700-mile trip took her 4 days, 4 airlines, and 4 layovers to complete. But with all the incredible sights on offer, we doubt she was complaining too much. After sampling the desights of Australasia, DePeckle set off for Europe. But before that, however, there was a quick layover in the United Arab Emirates. And while the Middle East's reputation as a patriarchal region may give some female travelers cause for concern, DePeckle remained undeterred. In fact, she hoped that the experience would influence others to think differently about foreign lands. The media naturally has the ability to steer us away from international travel, she told exploration enthusiast website The Mountain Folk. It's important to be aware of our world matters, but not be intimidated by them. The world is kind, people are kind, and you are safe. You have one life, and what is meant to will happen. Though that's not to say that DePeckle isn't ready for hostile encounters. Indeed, prior to jetting off, she learned the self-defense technique Krav Maga. It's just so that I can feel a little more comfortable traveling to these countries where women are not accepted as much, she explained to Pan Am Post. I felt it would be important to protect myself, just in case. However, while DePeckle's trip seemed like a dream come true, it isn't all relaxing walks on the beach. In fact, the traveler has dedicated many hours to promoting her cause through meetings with university students and figures involved in tourism group SCAL International. Meanwhile, she's been filming her travels for a documentary intended to spread the word about the benefits of sustainable travel. In addition, DePeckle has been working to offset the environmental damage caused by her travel in various ways. For instance, she's been gathering water samples in order to gauge the level of microplastics released into the sea. Furthermore, she's planted trees in a number of countries in order to balance her carbon footprint. Of course, traveling the world isn't cheap. Since beginning her journey, the wanderer spent just over $200,000 on fees for the likes of accommodation, plane tickets, and visas. Indeed, the latter can often be tricky to acquire. Her entry to North Korea alone cost a cool $800. However, DePeckle isn't alone, and she has legions of sponsors to aid her quest. Besides SCAL and the IIPT, DePeckle receives help from companies such as Air New Zealand and high-profile supporters such as Renault Fiennes. And when times get rough, she sometimes receives free accommodation from hotels in exchange for social media shoutouts. Visiting every country in the world is a feat in itself, but DePeckle is hoping to make her accomplishment even more groundbreaking. From the get-go, the adventurer has been seeking to become the first ever woman to visit all 196 internationally recognized nations on the planet. Inadvertently, however, it seems that she's about to break more records than one. Though she gave herself just over 3 years to complete the expedition, DePeckle has been traveling at a blistering pace. In fact, she's already seen a whopping 181 nations in 15 months. As a result, she's well on course to become not only the first female to visit every country, but the fastest person and youngest American to do so as well. Certainly, it seems likely that DePeckle will break a new record. Currently, the award for fastest man to visit every country belongs to Englishman Graham Hughes, who traversed the globe in just over 4 years. And having seen most of the world's nations in less than half that time, DePeckle is on course to break that particular record. However, it isn't all smooth sailing yet, as DePeckle still has 15 countries and 40 targeted days left to go. Though she's been everywhere in Oceania, Europe, and the Americas, she still has parts of Asia and much of Africa to cover. This includes war-torn regions such as Syria, a dangerous place for anyone, regardless of their background. Currently in Mongolia, DePeckle is still out there putting her mark on mankind. However, she can rest assured in the significance of her task. "I imagine the feeling of accomplishment and awe will be overwhelming," she confessed to the Daily Mail. "I just hope that I'm able to inspire young women to go after goals and feats that, so far, people think can only be done by man." Please don't forget to share this story with your friends below.